Hello, my beauties. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. It's Viv. Of course, still fighting with my lights. Hang on. All right. It's tricky because I want my plants in the picture. And so I was tending to move like that. Anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am really glad to be here. It's relatively late for me. Welcome if you were waiting. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late. Um, Happy that you're here. I'm using StreamYard. Whoop. And so there's a little delay in your comments, but do go ahead and comment, say hi. And I'm just setting it up right now. So yeah, how are you guys? How are you doing? We're going to have a wonderful session today. I am live. This is live. And also, I just want to greet my folks who are watching on the replay. Welcome. If you have any questions, replay folks, put it in the comments, which are below the video. Those of you live, it's a little bit different. You'll be able to live chat. Okay. So I have questions. And what we're going to work on, goddesses, is letting go of 2023. I did this like a couple of years ago, and I really like it. And so it is a process. So let me start from the beginning. Get a journal, okay? Or even just get some paper and you can rewrite, okay? So get a journal, get a pen, get some water, okay? Welcome if you're just joining. So hopefully the title was clear. Let me look and see what I did actually title this. And of course, I always say this, you might end up hearing an ad. Hold on, and then I'll get in trouble with YouTube. All right, I titled this Prep for 2024 because a lot of people are looking for how to prepare for 2024 as best we can. And to me, you have to let go of the year, right? So to prepare for the upcoming year, which I always really like to start with hope and energy and prana and chi, we have to let go of anything we're carrying forward, okay? Because we don't want to carry negative stuff forward. So I don't want to give you the whole overview because I want you to stay with me, but we're going to breathe briefly and then we're going to jump right in, okay? Now, it's going to start off a little bit hard because we're going to look at what we really didn't like about this year so far, okay? I don't know. We still have a month. It could change. But midway through the questions, the journal prompts that I'm going to share with you, midway through, the energy is going to shift and we're going to end up on a very positive note. Okay. I promise that. So I just want to greet some folks who are here. If you're watching replay, then skip ahead a minute or two. Okay. I got to talk to my live folks. So hello, Kay Sharp. And again, if you have a channel and you want your channel put up, just say hi. Unless I notice like any images like super offensive, then I may not put it up or something. But welcome, Priya. Welcome. Oh, nice. Yeah. Hi, Priya. And BB. Hey, BB. Good evening to you. Yeah, it's evening where I am. You guys know I love natural light. With the time change, it's like dark, dark, dark. Like we should be under the covers and with the winter, it's hard. I don't really like the time change. But I'm over it. I'm back to my schedule now, I feel like. Okay, but let's get started. We're going to just breathe briefly. Okay, we're breathing now, but we're going to consciously breathe. And the reason I'm able to be with you at this time, because usually my meditation session would be running. And so I gave them this weekend off because I thought maybe some people, they've traveled for Thanksgiving or they have like the kids back home or whatever from college or who knows. So that's why I'm able to be here at this time, because usually I would be just actually finishing up with the Soulful Mindfulness Meditation program. And that is starting again in January. And actually, I'm running a sale. Okay, really important. I want you guys to know about it because I know it can really make a huge, huge positive difference in your life, like it is for the women who are enrolled now. So go to my website. It's going at the bottom in the Flow of Magic, and you'll see it if you're interested in Soulful Mindfulness Meditation with me. Okay, so you've got your journal, you've got your pen. If you're just joining, we're going to do a short breathing practice. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths in and out. And relax your face, relax your whole body. Breathing in. Feel yourself being lifted up, sitting taller. Exhale. Keep the nice tall posture, open heart, relaxed shoulders, crown of your head pushing up, chin slightly tucked so the back of the neck is a little bit long. And lower your eyes. Just become aware of your energy, how you're feeling today. And just tuning into all of you. Feel that we are all gathered together. Maybe we're sitting in a circle as humans have for millennia. So we're sitting in our circle. Maybe there's a fire, and we'll just be sharing our stories, our thoughts with each other. Just feel that you're connecting in this circle with people from around the world. And since my channel is primarily for women, coming from that perspective, maybe say goddesses, just feel like you're sitting in a circle. There's someone to your left and to your right. Nice deep breath in and out. Good. So you always want to start off, calm and centered when you're going to do any sort of journaling, right? A problem for us women in Western society is many of us don't have enough time where we're able to be quiet and tune into our body's wisdom. And so for me, even just that little bit, even though I was speaking to you, that left me feeling very settled, more than before. Okay. So I just urge you, before you do anything important, anything contemplative, take a few breaths and just center yourself. Okay. All right. I want to see who else is here. Hi, Silverhead Fitness. Welcome. Check out Silverhead's channel on fitness and give her some support if that's something you're interested in. Okay. So the first question we're asking, because again, we want this has been a hard year. I'm going to go there. This has not been an easy year, I'm sure. Even if your personal life and work and everything was great, just folks around you, media, friends, family, acquaintances, all of that has to affect you if you are a sensitive woman. Okay. And if you're watching this channel, most likely you are. Okay. Or you just wouldn't be watching. All right. So what I want to do is process some of this and then move forward. So what was the hardest thing? The first question that I wrote down to share with you is, what was the hardest thing for you this year? Okay. Now, I know you might not feel ready to get into this, because that's the thing with a live. You want to be here live, but you may not be, you may be having supper. So I just invite you, either you can come back, but I'd love if you stayed live, did these processes. Okay. Maybe there's a reason that you turned up here, even if something else is going on. Okay. Maybe go to a separate room, tell the kids you'll be back, tell the partner you'll be back. What was the hardest thing? And I'm going to do it too. And I'm going to set a little timer. So this is going to be too much for many people. They're just going to be like, I don't know, I can't do that. But I'm giving us 5 minutes with that. I've set my Insight timer, which is an app I really recommend. Okay, so let's do our first question. And maybe I can get it on the screen. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can, in StreamYard, if I can put it up. What was the hardest thing? How do I do that? Comment. Gonna make it a banner. Let me try and make it a banner. Hold on here. Let's make it a banner and see if it'll do it. What was the hardest thing this year? Okay, and we're gonna just take 5 minutes. What was the hardest thing for you in this year? Okay. All right. I'm going to save it and let me see if I can have it go across as a, hold on. Okay. So you can start. Okay. I'm going to show that. Yeah. What was the hardest for you this year? Okay. Now, this was inspired by a wonderful goddess who does, I think she does mostly astrology, which I don't do. I don't do astrology. One of the few things I've not tried. And she had a journaling process a couple of weeks ago. Okay. So, what was the hardest thing for you? You might want to write the question down. Okay. So, you're going to see me looking away because I'm looking at my journal. All right. Let's spend a few minutes here. And then we'll share in the chat. Okay, we'll share with the community. If you're just joining, we're working on prepping for 2024. I have to keep talking, guys, because folks come in. People don't come in right at the beginning. And so they need to know what's going on. We're writing down what was the hardest thing in 2023. All right, so take some time for that. And then we will share. We'll have time for sharing. Because to prepare, it's like you got to clean your house, right? You want to decorate your house. You want to make it more beautiful. The house being our life, right? 2024, we have to get rid of the crap. So let's look at what was the hardest thing. And if you don't feel like you can go really deep now, goddess, that's okay. Maybe just make a quick note, which is what I think I'm going to do. And then you can go back. Okay. But you've written, what was the hardest thing for me? Okay. For you in 2023. In fact, you could even bullet point them and then go back, because if you want to do more than one, just to honor your experience. Okay, does that make sense? Give me a yes in the chat if that makes sense. I see a new comment as well. Okay, yeah, we'll come back and talk about it. Yes, great. So just for now, just making a note for yourself. Okay, we've got two minutes more, and then you should hear my bell go off here. Okay, turn that up. So what was the hardest thing for you? And remember, if you're just joining, it's going to start off a little heavy. We're doing a year in review, but we're going to end up in a really beautiful, good place. I promise you. Okay? Promise you that. So I'm writing it as well. So the hardest thing, you could put the hardest things. Maybe the top 3. Let's do the top 3. Okay? Because as I always say to you, and this is not meant to be harsh, but some folks stay too long in the trauma. And I don't want that to be the case for you, is to stay and literally like simmer in the trauma. Okay. You're stronger than that. You want to deal with it, be aware of it, take some time, but then you don't live in trauma, goddesses. Okay. You do not live in trauma. That's not where we're going to live. Okay. That's not where we're going to stay. Okay. So we've just got a little less than a minute. I wrote down 3 things that were the hardest things, let's make that plural, in 2023. Okay, so we can let them go. We can sweep them out. All right, that is what I would like to do. Now, remember, again, you're not necessarily going to be able to process it right now. You could maybe bullet point what were 3 things hard for you, and then go back when you're quiet, you're not watching a YouTube video, you're not trying to type, So, or you're listening to me while you're trying to make dinner and you need to keep going. But what was the hardest thing or things for you in 2023? And then we're going to stop and share. Yeah. Hey, Caprice. Welcome. All right. Can you guys hear the bell? All right. Okay. So yeah, let's share. Let us share. And I hope you don't mind. I might put your comment up. Now, coughing, especially when you don't really have anything going on, is often stuff coming up, just so you know. And I say that with you, and I hope that I won't keep coughing the whole thing, because I'll share what I wrote first. Was my best friend in the world. Basically, my brother, he passed this year, as many of you know. And that was the hardest thing. And then there were two other things that I wrote down. But notice, goddesses, if you feel in your throat, okay, that can be emotions coming up. Okay. But let me see if you'd like to share. So, Silverhead Fitness said the hardest thing was time management. Yes. Okay. Who can it give her a yes or say me too with the time management? Yes. No matter our age, I feel like sometimes, even also as you get older, get more mature, time feels like, excuse me, time feels like it shortens. It's a very common phenomena. Okay. So for you young whippersnappers, bliss babes, maybe time management feels a little easier. I don't know. Want to get your comments. Okay. Capri says, my 18-year-old son turning against me. Caprice, I am so sorry that's what you're experiencing. The 18, that's a volatile, that whole period of life can be very volatile. So for sure. All right. Write something to Caprice if you have a comment on that, if you also have children or have been through that stage. Okay. That would be really nice. So it's not just me, but if you have anything to share with her. And the way to do that, guys, put at and then if you start to type the person's name, they should pop up and they'll literally see their name highlighted that you wrote back to them. Okay. Let's keep going. You're welcome, Caprice. And Priya had a yes to and my first question. hmm hmm Oh my goodness, yes. See, now Silverhead, isn't that interesting? Because I do know that because we had a chance to talk briefly, and it didn't pop back into my head. And then here is Caprice sharing that. So you have, again, this is part of what our humanity is realizing that we're going through something, and we're not alone in going through that. Yeah. Who else? So, what was the hardest thing? If you're just joining, we were writing down what was the hardest thing for you in 2023? I want to give a little bit of time for you to type. Okay. And let's see. Yes, yes, yes. Well, because, Caprice said her son is turning against her, but things are always changing. That is the one constant in life, is that there is always change, right? So there's an opportunity that can shift again. All right. Let's give one more minute. Okay. If you want to share what was the hardest thing for you in 2023. Okay. And you don't have to have written it down, but it's important. You can put it out there. All right. And then we're going to do our second journal question, our second journal prompt. Oop, new comment. All right. Let's see. Okay. Wow. Priya, that is so deep because it's really, honestly, I honor you for sharing that because I think that so many of us, and by us, I don't mean Black people or even women. I mean everyone. So many of us now are in with escapism. I think that's a really deep one that you were able to see genuinely, because I just know I don't I have to be careful what I say, but people around me have different forms of escapism. Like, let me talk about that. For instance, for some of us, the escapism is into food. Okay. Maybe it's just all kinds of food. Maybe for some of us, it's more like sweets, I have like a sweet tooth that, as I'm on my healing journey, I am battling with. I am doing battle against sugar. It's me trying to like throw the sugar down the drain. Actually, there's no actual sugar in my house. There's no white sugar in my house. There's no brown sugar in my house. But anyway, we'll keep going. But escapism, right? For some people, it's sleeping a lot, Priya. Yeah, I see. I see that. Just a lot of films or just whatever. We can use Human beings can use anything as an escape, and anything. I can exercise. That could be an escape instead of just being like health and you feel good. We know people become obsessive about, like, I literally didn't think this was possible, but I saw something recently, actually it was a couple months ago, but I really remember it was like people addicted to exercise, because I'm like, addicted to exercise, that's a tough one. And they were like, so it was a woman, so thin and just unhealthy, right? Obsessed with exercising. So Priya, you should really be proud of yourself for seeing that. Yeah, and we delude ourselves completely. That's what delusion is. Yes. Everybody loves Miss Mimi. Thank you, Miss Mimi. She says same here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, books, okay, but I have to say one thing. To me, books are a special category. I will fight you on the books. Caprice, food and books. To me, this is so funny. I'm like sitting in my living room talking to y'all. There's nobody around. It's like, am I talking to myself? I'm not. I'm not. There are 18 of you here live with me right now. I'm just happy you're all here. I feel like books are a different category. Books they're educating, they take you away in a way that almost can still be teaching you. So for me, books are a separate category. Yeah, Geneva, I know. I swear to God, sugar is, there's so many videos out now by really reputable people about the dangers of sugar, but it's an industry, so it's not something that's going to be like, yeah, it's the sugar that we have in our food in America, goddesses. This is something I look into, is way different than even in other countries. Some countries may have more, like for instance, I don't know if all of you know, apparently Coke, I believe when Coke is in Mexico, it uses pure sugar, while in America, the formulation's a little different. But the amount of sugar we're getting in our bodies, our ancestors didn't have that much sugar. No, even if you ate fruit all the time, the level of sweetness, and it's just really not good for us. But anyway, see, don't get me off on a health tangent. Don't get me on a health tangent. What is our second question? Thank you guys for sharing. All right. So I'm not just sitting in my living room talking to myself, which is, not good. What was okay, you ready for this one? This one is the last one that's a little bit emotional. What was your biggest mistake? Where'd my pen? Our second journal prompt in terms of getting ready for 2024. You write it down. Okay, so I recommend writing it down. What was your biggest mistake? That is different than what was the hardest thing. It could be related to what was the hardest thing. Okay. It could be like, if you wrote your son's pulling away, or did you make a mistake in relation to that? Or is it the mistake something totally different? And again, let me type that. Let me see if I can put that up. Trying to be all tech here. Okay. So our second journal prompt that we're doing right now is, what was your biggest mistake? And then we're going to do a quick forgiveness. What was your biggest mistake 2023? All right, here we go. Okay, and I want to show that to you. Perfect. I'm going to give you time. We're going to have 5 minutes. So we've started. I'm going to set the timer. All right. What's the biggest mistake? So it's hard to do this and live, but I really hope you're participating. So, when I'm looking away and writing, you're also journaling. So I'm going to give you quiet time. Okay. So, that is a big one. What was your biggest mistake in 2023? I definitely have one that fits so many situations. Turn the volume down if I'm bothering you while you're journaling. I'm just going to write one thing and then I'll share it with you guys. What I feel like my biggest mistake or misstep or whatever. It is one thing. Yeah. And then if you want to expand on it, goddesses, write it out. Write it out. So what is your biggest mistake? That's what we're writing out right now. We're journaling about 2023. And I invite you, with this and the previous question, to like maybe write it on a card or a piece of paper. And the reason for that is if you'd like, you can either burn it. And in my head, as I was prepping, I was like, somebody's going to be like, it's witchcraft. Okay. If you think it's witchcraft, then just go, leave. You could just flush it down the toilet. Okay. That's not witchcraft, unless somehow that is. I don't know. But the negative, like this mistake, you could write it on a card and then just flush that down the toilet to let it go. Okay. Or burn it. Like I said, don't burn down your house. Don't start a fire, but it is really good and symbolic to let go. You could rip it into little pieces. Okay. What was your biggest mistake? I wrote mine down. I'm giving us 5 minutes. I think I'm going to give us 4 minutes for this. What was your biggest mistake? And then we're going to share. Okay. And I'll put your comments up. So if you want to start typing, if you just want to share straight into the comments, do that. That would be great. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to start putting them up. Yeah, exactly. Books junkie is okay. Because, I mean, yeah. Because, yeah. Books are different. I mean, books are stories, history, myths, truths that we don't have to literally live to get the wisdom from. So, that's why I put them in a bit of a special category. All right. I'm going to just give us a few more seconds. We have about 4 minutes altogether. What was your biggest mistake in 2023? I'm just going to honor that. This is important because a lot of times we carry guilt and shame about what we did wrong. And then that holds us back. So that's what I don't want that for you. Okay, good. I'm seeing a lot of comments coming in. You can add it into yours. We're going to just flash all of them. Okay. Oh, I just found there is a mute button. If I have to cough, I just found my little mute button on the. Okay. So let's share. Bell's going to go off, which would finish a full 5 minutes. So Miss Mimi says, not managing my money better. Yeah, super common one, right? Super common. Not managing my money better. So you let go, release any guilt or any shame related to not managing your money better. Okay. Next one. I should have told my husband how much I appreciate him instead of complaining. Again, that's one I have seen. Again, just to maintain privacy. It's not a client. It's somebody I know who I've seen that happen for women in both cases that I'm thinking of. Yeah. Should have told my husband how much I appreciate him instead of complaining. Yeah. Okay. So you could put your hand, anyone watching, put your hand on either your heart or your belly and just forgive yourself. Say, I forgive myself for, okay. And I'm just channeling this. Spirit wants you to just know this. Just say, I forgive myself, and then repeat it. All right. Let's keep going. Let's see. Let's share. Letting things fester too long at work and home. I love that word, fester. I do. Because, when you hear fester, right? Like, you guys know I'm an artist. At the root, as a young child, I was already drawing. I mean, who wasn't drawing? But I was drawing good and loved it and very visual. And so when I hear fester, I see like wounds, like in movies where they're like gangrene, Anyway, so Caprice, let that go. Say to yourself, I forgive myself, right? For letting things fester. So just do that. And again, you can do it after the video too, but I just want to run through some of these processes. So Caprice, thank you for sharing that. Yep. Let's see what Silverhead says. I just burn it. Just burn that shit. Come on. I've lived out in the country sometimes. You see people burning stuff. Hopefully they hadn't done anything criminal, but they're just burning. They've just got a big bonfire going. They're throwing stuff in. They're burning. Smoke's going up. Okay. Burn it. Get rid of it. Get the ashes. Just back to ashes. All right. Yes. 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 Okay. One more. Priya, just, I honestly feel like you just coming in with the deep, not asking for help and support when I truly need it. Yes. Yes. You guys, what do you think of Priya's statement? And I'm looking down because I'm like looking at it and just like reading it. Um, Not asking for help and support when I truly needed it. Yes. Now, for the Black women in the audience, this is something that is part of a trope for us. We are taught and schooled. Yes, yeah, Priya. I'm like, Priya's just in the depths. We're taught that. We're taught to just be strong and just kind of just shut up. It's not even just shut up, like just deal with it, right? Just, who do you think's gonna like come save you kind of thing. But I think that is changing. For Black women especially, we are seeing that we're worthy enough and worthy of support. So Priya, I love that. I love that. So my biggest mistake, I'll share, I'm not going to type it. It was poor boundaries. Actually, I need to type that because I need for you to like star that or something. Tell me if you had that. Now, how did that play out for me? It doesn't sound like the worst thing, right? Can I spell boundaries? Okay, boundaries. This may not be right. Boundaries. I had multiple situations, goddesses, where it was just about poor boundaries. And then I wrote under it because, again, I really want this to be helpful for you. I want it to help me. I want it to help you. So I wrote a little bit more. I just wrote, not paying attention to my mental and emotional health, meaning that when people were just like taking me through the mud, the boundaries were poor, but I was, if I had given more attention to how I was really feeling, I would have dropped the boundary sooner. For instance, Caprice. I know. Capri says I suck at boundaries. This is thing, are anybody adult child of alcoholics, adult child of whatever, right? Drugs, mental health. So, in my family, my mom was an alcoholic. So women alcoholics often can hide it better. I've said that before. That's what I've read, and my mom hid it from the public pretty well. And so as a child, you'll tend to grow up with poor boundaries. So again, we don't blame ourselves. We do not blame ourselves, but give me a yes if you feel like you have poor boundaries. What does that mean? Because I know for some of you, especially younger, I don't know, but I actually think for older women, more mature women in my audience, we were more trained to have poor boundaries because we were even more trained, I think, to just give, like just squeeze everything you've got out of you, right? So yeah, I have very poor boundaries, and I shared in another video. K Sharp, yes, I'll put yours up as well. Priya says, yeah. A boundary is about where are you, and you have a right to something. You have a right. You have a right to not be treated as like badly. And I know for me, I'm always very aware of what the other person's going through. So I'm going to give you a real quick example. I had this difficulty with someone who was an acquaintance. I would not say a friend. And I knew they were going through a really hard time. Because I knew that, I gave them more leeway. I gave them more like rope, like, okay, yeah, I know you're going through a hard time, right? And then to keep that rope metaphor, then they end up yanking me almost into the pit where they were. Is that like too melodramatic? I'm sorry. I like that, the pit, because yeah, I just gave them like, oh yeah, you're going through divorce, and I can see you're having, like, I could see their issues. So I was like, okay. And then they straight up like use the rope I gave them, like they were trying to pull me down. You know that analogy, goddesses, of like when you put lobsters in a pot, I don't cook lobsters, I'm actually allergic. That the other lobster or the crab it'll pull the other one down to try to get out. And I'm not saying this person was doing it deliberately, but that's what it ended up being. Let me know if you've ever had that, where somebody's troubled. You can see it. So you're trying to like pour your heart out, be helpful, be supportive, and instead they like hook into you and it's like they start to pull you down. Very, very Yeah. K Sharp, I see your comment. Not correcting mistreatment. Well, that's the boundaries. That is the boundaries that I'm talking about. It's just you're just phrasing it differently. You're just phrasing it differently. It's the same thing. I was too independent, yes, but we're trained into that. That's also an American trait. So Black community and then America is extreme in the individualism. We really are compared to other countries. Come on. Other countries are a lot more about the community and family together and well, people think and and you behave a certain way. And we're just like, do it on your own, figure it out, toughen up, stop being a baby. That's also American culture. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, overly independent because it keeps us back. To both of you, I really think it keeps us back. If you watch people who are successful, always they work with others, they cooperate for a common goal. They cooperate for a common goal. Or if in Priya's case, she asks for help, then once she's strong, she knows she's there for that person, right? So it's a cooperative thing. Yes, it's a cooperative thing. Welcome, Lydia. Yeah, boundaries. Okay, but let's move on. Let's move on. We don't want to stay in the mud. So first question, well, what was the hardest thing for you in 2023? The second question was that we were journaling on, what was your biggest mistake? Before we go on, I just want us all to pause, right? Because this is where it becomes my channel. I told you I got this idea from another channel, but my channel is the meditation and dealing with the stress of it. So let's just put our hands either on the belly or on the heart chakra. Go ahead and close your eyes and whatever you wrote. So I'm just looking at mine, which was the boundaries. I just want you to repeat 3 times to yourself that you forgive yourself, okay? For your mistake. Okay, let's do it together. Okay, I just repeated 3 times and I could really feel it even though I've got a camera on me and lights. My light's probably going to go out and everything and I'm live with you. I really could feel it hit like a little drop landing. So I just said I forgive myself for not setting clear boundaries. Okay. All right, good. Good, good, good. All right, let's keep going. Okay, we're on the upside now. Not trying to have you depressed. What are your best days like in the past year? So think of what was some of your best days. What did you do on those days? Did you go bike riding with your boyfriend? Did you go like for long bike ride on a bike trail? Did you go to a concert? Like what did you do on your best days? Let me type it out. Well, first let me do my timer. It's great to be here with you guys. Going to do 4 minutes. Okay, 4-minute timer. And the question is, you guys, I am so slow. I am so slow typing. Hold on here. I think I type like this. Okay, so we're starting 4 minutes on what were you, what was, what were some of your best days like? All right. What were some of your best days like? Because I want you to know what made them a good day. All right. Really important. I'm going to write it too. I already been thinking about this one. Okay. What were some of my best days like? Okay. Meaning, what did you do? What happened? What happened on those best days? Okay. Let me go reset my lights so I'm not sitting here in darkness. And we've got about 3 minutes. Okay. All right. So just do bullet points. And those of you who you're just going to do it in the chat, go ahead. You can start typing in the chat. So my best days. Now, aside from some obvious things that won't make us all happy, you can put that on your list too. So, our third journal question for those of you just joining, what were some of my best days like? Meaning, what did you do? What happened? What did you read? Did you go running? Did you go spend time with your grandkids or your niece or nephew? What made it a great day? I realized this was important as I was prepping for this video. Okay, so we've got some answers coming in. I'm going to put them up. But I really do want to leave time. So what I'm going to do, again, because YouTube is a fickle beast, because we're at 40 minutes. So if you're still writing, that's okay. You've got another minute and a half, but I'm going to put up some of the comments. Going to an immersive art with a girlfriend. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Because it sounds like it's something different and something fresh, especially if it's immersive, you're in it. It's just unexpected, right? So doing things that are a little bit, again, especially as we get older, we've got to do new things. Otherwise, you just get jaded. I actually have a dear friend who is in her 70s, and part of what I see as a coach, as just someone who likes to help people, she doesn't have much new in her life. And so it's causing some problems. Even her healthcare providers are saying, you need some activities. They're telling her that, and she's really fighting it, right? Because it can get very comfortable. We all know older people generally, right? They get in their habits. So I think that's why I like Caprice, that stuck out for you, probably because it was something fresh and different. Good, good. Okay, so let me keep going through. All right. Silverhead said, went riding on a bicycle. Okay. So bicycle riding, that's weird that I gave that example, right? Of a long bicycle ride. Yeah. Again, maybe something new for you, but there you've got your endorphins. Okay. Those of you who are still writing, let's put in the chat. Days at home cuddling with oh, yes, yes. I have someone who was really important in my life a couple years ago, and one of their things was like to just I'm just not like that, like lay down and cuddle with their pet, because I'm like, there's something I should be doing. And I saw it brought so much comfort to them. So I hear you. Let's look at some of these. Let's get some ideas. Grounding, listening to jazz, watching the ducks line up. I love watching ducks. Love watching ducks. Anything in nature. Yes. Great. Thank you, Geneva. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Park walks and listening to music all day. Okay. Okay. So the reason I asked this question, goddesses, as you probably clearly see, welcome if you're just joining or if you're just hopping in. I'm Viv, and we're talking about looking back at our 2023 so that we can get ready for 2024. And I think I'm going to do that as a separate video. I want to get some fresh ideas together. We'll do some little meditations, just like we did in this one. But yeah, I have to go to the park. Like, the park is it for me. I went grounding on Earth Day. Okay, nice. Okay, right. Try to find at least 3. Okay, I'm going to share with you guys. Okay. Yoga, my best days. So the question was, what were some of your best days like? What was it that made them best? For me, when I do yoga in the morning, the day goes much better. I'm much more even keel. I just feel good. I just feel good in my body, and I feel real present, whatever I'm doing. Also, chakra work, when I did it, also felt real energized, and things tended to go smoothly. Another thing I noticed that I really loved was when teaching meditation. I feel really good. It's not just the teaching it, it's to be precise. So get precise about why your day was good. Okay. Because I don't want you to just be here listening to me and then go on. Let's really make this deep. Okay. It's not so much just like, oh, teaching meditation. It was when the women who I'm teaching would tell me something positive that they saw in their life as a result of learning with me. And that makes me feel really, really good. When I was more of a yoga teacher, you guys, because I started off just like I was teaching yoga, yoga classes in person, I realized that's what I really liked. At the end of the class, when people would be like, they'd be all like wrung out. And they're like, oh, Viv, that was great. Like you could tell they felt really good. They were like tired, but like really relaxed. This is New York City. So people were come in really stressed. So I noticed for me, it's important to get positive feedback in the work I do. Okay. And walks with a friend. So my days that were really good for me included yoga, some chakra work, like in the morning. I went for a walk in nature, right? And like Priya was saying, like go to the park. I have a beautiful park where I live. It's on the water, really nice, like lakefront, really pretty. And getting where I'm teaching meditation or I get some real positive feedback. All right, perfect. So the last question I have for us, this is going to be a fun one. I want you here with me on this. I'm going to share with you. You guys know what I'm going to say already on this one though. What was the big experience that you want for 2024? What is your soul craving for 2024? And let me put that. All right. And then I'm going to give us 4 minutes for that. All right. I'm going to start the timer. Take your time. Okay. Take your time. And I'm going to go quiet. Let me just type it in the banner so you guys can see it. Let's see. So we're starting 4 minutes. The journal prompt is, what big experience? I started to write what gig. No, not gig. What big experience is your soul craving and not crazing? Okay, craving. Okay, scroll across the bottom. Okay, good. Let's see. There we go. What big experience is your soul craving? I really want to hear this because I love, even when I was younger, I would annoy some of my friends with when they were depressed. I didn't realize how many depressed friends I had. I'd ask them what their dreams were and like what their like fantasy was, what they, and it would upset some people. So I want to hear what what big experience is your soul craving? What big experience? I mean, that could be a lifestyle change. That could be, something big. Because I think it's important to go for what you really want, not what you think just that you can have. So what do you really, really want? What do you feel is like a whisper in your heart? And we'll come back and we'll share that. That's our last journal question for this. Had myself muted there and was talking. So it could be one word like freedom or security or stability, but expand on that. Okay. If you want this to be helpful for you. And remember, you can go back after the video's over. Just take your time. Okay. Welcome if you're just joining. And thank you for being here. We're journaling on what big experience is my soul craving for 2024 to manifest. What's the big manifestation? What is the big manifestation? What experience is your soul craving? Okay, and then we'll share that. You can start typing in the chat. I see some more comments coming in. Perfect. I'll put them up. And this is to get excited about it. And I know, like, if you're like me, you may not have family that, if you're watching my channel, you may or may not have supportive folks in your life. Many of us, back to that crab analogy, when the crab's trying to get out of the boiling water and the other crabs pull it back down because they're trying to get out. Okay, so let's talk about it. I'm going to put you up on screen. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to put Silverhead first. And the question, what is the big experience is your soul craving? And she says to start live streaming, putting it off for too long. Silverhead, it's actually easy. Well, I really don't like to lie. Let's see. All right, Silverhead. Oh gosh, what'll happen is the minute you get on live, your nose will start to itch, and something will go wrong. So, but Silverhead, what you got to do is you can always take your live streams down. Any of you thinking about YouTube, and this doesn't apply to many of you maybe, but you can always take it back down. Or Silverhead, I think there's a way where you can live stream, but literally not show live, where you just see yourself. But anyway, just do it. Just do it. Give her some encouragement, folks. Just also, it's helpful to think that you're talking to someone who's a friend of yours, right? But that is so your dream is to start live streaming. I think that's perfect. The first time, I don't even remember. I'm sure I was really nervous. The weird thing is I actually like live streaming almost more than recording a video because it's faster. You're just you. And you go on. When you record a video, those of you here, you have to put what's called B-roll. You might put other images in, you might put music, you have to chop out the. Well, if you're live, it's just, you just do it, right? So just do it. Freedom. Miss Mimi says freedom. Yeah. But what does that mean for you? What does that mean for you? Because sometimes we say one big thing and then we're like, but what does that mean? How would you execute freedom? Okay. So I want to know that. Let's see. To be a supportive cheerleader parent to myself that I need. Okay. What experience would have you feel that? Would going on a vacation, Caprice, do that for you? Or what would make you feel like you're the supportive cheerleader? That's my question. Yeah, Silverhead, just do it. Oh, and one more thing quick for Silverhead. We lost a couple folks when we started talking about YouTube. Oh, they came back. Silverhead, what was I going to say? Oh my gosh. Oh, your first live stream is only going to get very, very few people. I mean, if you get 2 or 3 people. Now, of course, if you tell your whole family and every single friend you have, and you demand they show up, but your first live stream, Silverhead, may have like 2 or 3 people, 4 or 5 people. So don't worry about it. It's just to get practice. Yeah, it's just to get absolute practice. You're welcome, though. Freedom of my time. Okay. Okay, perfect, Miss Mimi. Okay, in your IT career. Girl, IT, yeah. Well, I know they can work you really hard in IT, I think depending on who you work for, so that I hear you. In entrepreneurship and content creation. If you have the IT, I'm sure you'll be able to do the entrepreneurship, because if you have the more technical background, I feel like that's what many people may not have. So freedom of time. Okay. So what can you do, Mimi, to create that? What steps do you need to do? That's something for you to think about. Let's go on to Priya, creating financial freedom for myself by sharing my spiritual gifts. Beautiful, Priya. What? See, this is I don't know Priya. I honestly feel like this is the first time I've seen her. Priya, I apologize if you've been in here before months ago, but your picture I don't remember. And so the fact that I was like, you're going so deep, you're going so deep, and you're saying you have spiritual gifts. I think you do because I was just feeling that you were someone, there was just a lot of depth in your answers. So Priya, share with us, what are your spiritual gifts? Share with us. You'll get some cheerleading here. I would love to know. And do you already have a YouTube channel for that? That's my question for Priya. And we'll give you some love. Caprice, I like that thinking. Okay. Yeah, no, this is great. This is great. Geneva says, just do it, sunshine. Oh, are you talking to Silverhead Fitness or Priya or both? Or both? It's okay. The last time I came on here was last year. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've done, I don't know how many lives. Let me think. No, I do more than once a month typically, but then I skip some, maybe like 10 lives. No, but that my point, the reason I pointed out just not specifically feeling like I know you, Priya, is because I was feeling by your answers that they had such depth that I'm not surprised now that you say your spiritual gifts. So it's a compliment. Yeah. And yeah, your hair is beautiful. I mean, you're a beautiful person. But tell me more about your spiritual gifts. Like, what do you do? Are you a hands-on healer? What is it that you are? Because I'm really curious. And Silverhead says to you, "I love that. Your hair is beautiful. Yeah, you're rocking that fro. Because not everybody can. Like, I feel like I'm just not sure about mine. My Yeah, my hair needs structure, a certain type of structure. We'll talk about that another. Caprice says, "Go, Priya." So, Priya, what are your spiritual gifts? I really want to know. Um, is it like spiritual writing? Yeah, I'm really curious. You got me curious now. I was watching another channel. I don't want to missay which one it was. So she was talking about a beautiful sister who does music that's healing. I was like, huh, be interesting. I wonder what it sounds like. They didn't have the music, but they were talking about her and that she creates healing music. So Priya's probably shy. Yeah, and Priya, come back more. If those of you watching, hit the subscribe button. If you have not already subscribed, we have to say that as folks on YouTube, we have to say, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notifications. And I'm waiting to hear what Priya, her spiritual gifts. Now, I believe we all have gifts, and I suppose they all really can be spiritual. You know, the gift of maybe doing hair can be spiritual. It depends, right? How you express it. It really does, right? So for me, okay, so let me share my answer and then I'm going to sign off in just a few minutes. But Priya might have gotten the call. But yeah, I truly believe this is for all of you watching. I know you, there's a famous phrase, if you do not share your gifts, if you keep your gifts in, that they almost harm you. I'm not saying it's a beautiful quote about sharing what is within you, and that if you don't share what is within you, it almost like destroys you. And let me expound on that a little bit more. I do believe we come in for a purpose. And so if that purpose is almost like it's within us and it's what we're supposed to express and we don't express it, it's almost like it causes, I don't want to say necessarily illness, but then we haven't fully expressed our divinity, right? Because that seed was planted within us. So yeah. Oops, I thought I saw a new, but yeah, go Priya. Priya, your hair is beautiful. And yeah, hey, if you're just joining, we were just wrapping up. We were talking about looking back at 2023 and then to go and prepare for a better, more beautiful 2024 in our lives. Oh yeah, Priya says, okay, it took her a while. Oh, you're feeling inspired. Okay, yeah. She's not sharing here it is. Here it is. I'm so sorry. I missed that, Priya girl. Here it is. I'm interested in developing a healing arts practice. I have done some energy healing, but specifically I've been called to work with whale dolphin. Oh, wow. Priya, me too. I don't share much on this channel, but whale, Priya, reach out to me at assistant. You can, here, any of you actually, you can do, is it viv.asme? You can do a free call with me. Okay. Go to viv.asme. I just put it in the chat. Priya, I'd love to talk with you about this. It's funny, I have not shared, but there are definitely times when I'm doing my spiritual practices where I feel the connection into whale and dolphin. And there's someone I follow. I'm not going to name him. He's an older African American male. Talks a lot about success and money. It's very biblical, and he's absolutely brilliant in some areas. I think this is my opinion, but I think in other areas he repeatedly states that how special humans are and that animals don't have certain things. You guys, goddesses, you see where I'm going. It's like, oh well, animals don't have they can't speak. Okay, yeah, no, a dolphin is not speaking in English. But to say that a dolphin doesn't have a highly developed form of communication, possibly higher than ours, I think is absurd. I've actually had an argument with a young man who really, really admired me, worked with me, but he couldn't get what I was saying. Like that blew his mind because he's like, how could they possibly? And I'm like, just because you don't understand, I'm talking about dolphins here, whales, and just because you don't understand their language, think about it. If somebody speaks Turkish, let me give you an analogy. I know all of you, the goddesses here, will follow. If somebody speaks Turkish and they're extremely intelligent and they're just going through all this stuff, factual stuff, but you don't speak Turkish, can you say they're stupid? Can you say they can't communicate? No, you cannot, because you are the one who doesn't understand them. So this young man, and he was quite young, I was like, you really don't get what I'm saying? I don't think it's even that deep. Because I was like, whales, I mean, the things we know about them are like amazing. The things that, for instance, they're communicating with each other. They're just communicating in a different way across like miles and miles. They can talk to each other. And they don't need a telephone, because you'd be like, whoa, why did they just not develop a telephone, Viv? Like, this was the equivalent of what the young man said to me, you guys. I'm actually enjoying this because it's like ridiculous. He was almost like, well, they don't have technology. And I'm like, oh my God, open your mind. Let's do some tapping on your head. Maybe they don't need technology. That's how advanced they are. They don't need what we consider technology. Do you feel what I'm saying? I know Priya does. Yeah. Exactly. People are so again, this man that I'm, following him because he knows about money, clearly he doesn't understand. There are other truths that he just does not understand. Now he would laugh at me because again, he doesn't understand them. So yeah, whales talking miles and communicating with each other, and who knows what they're communicating and how ancient they are. The fact that we don't understand them. Would you dare say it to somebody who speaks Swahili? Oh, well, you're stupid. Because I don't understand what you're saying, and you don't speak Swahili. No, you would realize that's stupid because you don't speak Swahili, and so you cannot judge what they're saying because their language is different than yours. Okay. Thank you, Priya, for getting me on this topic. So I've felt very much drawn to that. There's a woman I found on Facebook who was making these sounds, Priya, and it was like deep and like otherworldly. And I believe she said it was whale she was working with. So yeah, that's wonderful. That type of stuff, training, that's hard to get. That's almost like you're gonna work with that. But I put my contact in there, viv.asme, especially if you've never like chatted with me. It's like a 20-minute free call. If I can help you or offer any advice. Thank you, Silverhead, because we've got our silver hair. So yes, exactly. Some people, I like to teach by analogy because it is the best way, and you have to get a good analogy. So that's why I think the language one is key. No rational human being would try to claim somebody else is stupid just because they speak a different language. And so whales and all other creatures, but I feel especially those sea creatures, we do not understand their language. Therefore, we cannot say that they're dumb or they're not communicating. And that's where this man was going, is that, we are so special because we have language. I'm like, actually, the more I think about it, yeah, I think he said only we have language, which is absurd. We have our human languages. We have our human languages. Wow, I feel like I just went into a whole other video. Yes. Miss Mimi says, isn't that, see, do you see why we're all here? How interesting this is? Randomly, I would have never thought, oh, you love dolphins, you love whales. I wouldn't have necessarily thought to talk about that. And yet, a lot of us that are here still together on this live, it's coming out that something about our consciousness resonates with these beings. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, I believe I believe and feel that whales and dolphins are part of what's holding our whole planet together, if that makes sense. Through their energy, through their wisdom, through maybe putting out nonviolence. So while the chaos and violence of the humans, how can we say that another species isn't actually almost literally not sacrificing itself, but helping to maintain the planet? Maybe their dolphin song, right? Yeah, we really don't know. We really don't know. Mimi, what were you going to type? I think it got cut off. You go, we have animal. Can you, before I go, I want to just see what you were, yeah. Oh, of course we have animal instincts. Yes. But they're mostly gotten out of us. I mean, think back. Do you goddesses remember that huge tsunami that happened in, I want to say Bali or Indonesia? And huge. It was years ago now, maybe 6 years, maybe more, but many, many people died. But some people, because I think there were a lot of stories. Some people had a premonition. I have stories of people who, yeah. Oh, actually, I'm not sure which part resonates with you. Priya, tell me exactly the part about like the peace holding the planet. Yes, thank you. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But people can't tune into that. As I said, this man that I'm talking about, because I have trouble with like the money level, which is more the root chakra, it's a different level. And he's very, very good with money. But many people, they're at one level. And so then it's like a chakra imbalance. It's an energetic imbalance. Yes. Absolutely. So yes, we have animal instincts. So I just remembered what my story briefly was. I was in New York City during 9/11, during the attacks of 9/11. And I want to say two of people who were taking yoga with me shared stories. One woman, and you say, well, I don't know. It doesn't logically make sense. No, it doesn't. But there's energy behind things. She was fired, you guys, I want to say the Friday before 9/11. And get this, I think they even said to her, don't come in to get your stuff. Like, we'll mail it, we'll pack it up, we'll mail it for you. She would have been in the building on 9/11, but they fired her before. So imagine when she was fired, goddesses, she probably felt devastated, right? And angry and upset. Then 4 or 5 days later, imagine how she'd feel. Imagine how she'd feel, right? This is factual. This happened to a woman who was taking, and I want to say it was a Black woman who was taking yoga with me. I had a yoga studio. And I ran into her on the street after some time. I think I might have closed the studio because it hurt. That whole 9/11 thing hurt business. As you can imagine, those of you who are aware of it, or maybe old enough, like Silverhead, I don't know, some of you may be so young, you know it, but you didn't really experience it. And there was another person, get this, another person, I want to say also a Black woman, who stopped to smoke a cigarette. Check this. Would have been in one of the towers on 9/11, but ran late, and I think stopped to smoke a cigarette, and so did not go into the building. Yes. Okay, so looking back at our year to wrap the video up, right? Some things, in fact, this was how I wanted to wrap up. Some bad things happened to you personally. There's many things also in the world, but what we don't know, and that's why I also tried to change it, is into, oh, what did we learn? This is what I'm going to leave you with, because this was supposed to be the final question. What wisdom did I gain What wisdom did I gain? Yeah, I didn't ask that. What wisdom did you gain from the bad experiences? So I suppose when I look back at my questions for you, I wrote, the mistake was not good boundaries. So I learned the wisdom I can take going forward, and I hope you extract from your answers too, is what can you take from that? So for me, it's that I need strong boundaries, that I deserve to have a safe space within myself that I don't allow others to violate. Okay. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Divine intervention. These are facts. These are two women that I spoke to after 9/11, and I just got chills because they knew. They were like, they knew after the fact I was saved. I was saved. Now, I don't take it necessarily that an outside force saved them. You could have been their angels, their guides. I think back to Miss Mimi's comment, one of the gifts that we are given by the divine is the ability to know that animal instinct. And so these women, like even the getting fired energetically, what was the intervention that caused that? I don't know. I don't know, but they lived. They lived. So, on that note, I'm going to do another one where I focus on 2023 more, what your dreams are for 2023, okay? Do these processes, please. Do these processes, do these questions, and let me know if they help in the actual comments below the video. All right. Ciao. Viv's going to get some food, take care of some business. And it was great to see you all here. And I'll have a video. Yes, thanks, Silverhead. And thanks for that, acknowledging that when you said great analogy. Because, yeah, the more mature folks, the more you see, the more you can see connections. And that's the beauty of age. We're able to hopefully, and then there's some young ones, very wise as well, right? Yeah, it was great chatting with you too. Goddess, come back. I'm usually live on Sundays and recorded video on Thursdays. Ciao. Bye-bye.